put together in one picture. Okay, and now next slide. So I said a little bit about the location. It's located in the city of Cracow, and I really recommend that you guys have a look into that city because it has fantastic scenery and fantastic spots, not only the castle as well, museums. And here you can see the city center, a big red dot. Rakowice is the museum where we have done the museum project, and Bartlomiej on the left side is a new airport outside the city. So the old airport was inside the city of Rakowice, and they changed it to become this historic airfield, to become the museum. Next, please. So in the year 1912, Cracow belonged to Austria-Hungary. I said at the beginning that the borders got changed a lot in Europe, and emperors changed and whatever it is. So, history was moving fast. And during that time, Cracow belonged to the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, and they were building the first airfield on that ground, and that was the first airfield in Poland ever built. So these are pictures from that time. That must be around 1912, and where these kind of pictures were taken. Next one, please. So now I would like to introduce you the pieces we had to design for. So there were not only these kind of big planes or uniforms or whatever, they were these kind of old objects. These are pictures now from the objects of the of that lost collection, which I said before, which was at the beginnings in Berlin, and then moved towards Posen, which became Polish, and which was then hidden for about 60 years. No one did know that these artifacts were still existing, but then they got discovered again in the 80s, and these were some of the pieces. Next. And other ones here, these ones, for example, the Antoinette up there on the left side was the first plane in 1912 being able to fly a circle. So when they were starting aviation, you have to imagine it's just 100 years ago, they were only able to fly a straight line, and that plane you're seeing there was the first one being able to fly a circle and fly with one passenger. So that we are really pieces which are amazing, and they left a lot of them. They left unrestored. They wanted to show it as found. Next, please. So this is the building where they all came from. That is the old building of the Deutsche Luftfahrtsammlung, collection of German aviation. When you ever come to Berlin and you go to the main station, that was standing next to the main station. When you come out of our main station, you will discover this little house standing there, the one on the left side, here in the corner. That is the only house remaining. Everything else got destroyed during the war. It got heavily bombed, and they had to tear it down, or it was burned out. So the only thing remaining is this little tiny house, which was the how do you call it, the doorkeeper or the maintenance man. So that is the only thing being left over, and all the rest got destroyed in the war. But luckily, what I said before, these few planes got out of that kind of site and got stored inside in Posen, where they luckily stayed there for a good 60 years. Next, please. So these are pictures. Oh, they are now very bad, very blurry. But anyway, these are pictures out of that old collection, how it used to look. That's not better. What? So these are taken inside this old building, the old German collection, only to show what was exhibited there. These old engines, this big aviation plane, the first ever flying object from Lilienthal. So these were the pieces, so very, very valuable because they are only a one-off. I mean, the Lilienthal is existing only once. Next, please. But as well, in that museum are pieces from Poland, so Polish airplanes of which they were using during the time of the Cold War and before, and very, very beautiful objects. The right one, for example, is just from design-wise, it's just a fantastic object. This looks like a cigar, a flying cigar. And the one down there here, the one which is a MiG fighter, has an amazing history, because that plane used to fly for East German Air Forces. And the East German Air Forces got in 1989 suddenly West Germany, because the war came down, and this object was the most hidden and secured object from the Eastern Bloc, and suddenly it was in the hands of the Western Bloc. And to show that that plane is exhibited as well, showing on the one side the signs of the Polish army, and the other side the signs of the German army. The next one. Do you see my cursor when I move the cursor?
No.
No?
No.
No, okay, that's not okay. So then I try to explain. So what do you see on that picture? On the top, you see this long white line that, no, don't zoom in. Don't zoom, no, please don't zoom in. Leave it the whole thing, leave the whole thing. Yeah, it's better. So on the top, you can see the starting and landing, how you say?
The runway?
The runway, exactly, the runway. And underneath, bending, it's a taxiway. And next to the taxiway, you see 3 buildings, which are square. They are about 60 by 60 meters. These are the old hangars of that old airport, Rakowice. And going further down, you see the area which is the museum area. And you see the tiny dots, which is the outside exhibition area. And you see already our museum and other big hangars. Important to me is to know that the buildings around the airport were mainly all 60 by 60 meters and only allowed to be 12 meter high. So 60 by 60 meter was the span of a standard hangar, and 12 meter high because it was still in use. And still now, that old historic airfield is in use once a year for a flight show of the historic planes. Okay, what I said, we were not only designing the museum, we were designing as well the outside aviation area. Next slide, please. So, and to the outside aviation area, we tried to do in such a manner that that we were using the existing and patterns or existing alleys, and adding things so that the whole becomes a very interesting area to discover and to walk through. Because you have the big airfields where, of course, you do not have any trees. It's not possible because they are planes. But you have as well the area where you have the bureaus, the offices, the garages, and whatever. And that area we try to do into a very interesting kind of park-like area. Landscape area where you walk around and which is in different patterns to show the objects. The next one. So just the streets are bordering our area. So, and that's a taxiway which is bordering these kind of colorful meadow. Next one. Next one. Then we have the old existing structures, the old trees, and which we were enhancing, or we were adding some trees so that the old alleys are back again. Next one. And we have a vegetation pattern which is always different, providing different colors year round and giving a nice kind of texture. So you have a different in springtime, different in summer, and different in autumn. And the idea was that people are not only coming to see the planes, they're coming as well to take a nice walk through the park. Next one. So, and then we had, of course, the buildings itself, where you do have the inside exhibition, and we extended these kind of buildings with a hardcover patch so that you are able to have in front of the buildings as well extra exhibition space. Next one. Now you can see it with the buildings. So you have these patches and the buildings. And next one. Okay, the aviation park, as we call it. So that was the first thing we did, is basically trying to realize a nice outside exhibition area. Okay, next one. And here you get a little bit of an idea. So on the left corner you see all the outside exhibition, these huge big planes. In the front you see our there's one phone on, yeah, it's better. You see in the back, you can see all the outside exhibition. In the front, you can see our buildings, and then you see loads of different small kind of hangars and buildings. They are basically filled with planes and with exhibits. Our building was there to be the main entrance building, and to be there to store the main and the most valuable planes. As well, it was supposed to give space for an education area, for a lecture hall, for a cinema, for a bar, and for the offices. So our building is the only one in that area being as well heated. All the others are more or less outside temperature. You can heat them a little bit, but not too much, because they do not just haven't got the money to spend for heating these kind of huge halls and magazines. So I said before that we found on that airfield these kind of buildings always the same size, this typical hangar being 60 by 60 meters and 12 meter high. And we took that next picture, please. Next one. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, we took, that's very difficult to see now because on that drawing are lines. You can't see these lines now, but we took, yeah, better. So we took basically that patch of 60 by 60 meter. We imagined these kind of forms you have in your memory of propellers, of birds, of whatever is, or flight objects. And we cut and folded that. Next one. Next one. Yeah, we were cutting and folding. Next one. Next, yeah. So the whole building became an object which reminds you of flight, of propeller, of an object really very light. And that object is now the new Museum of Aviation in Cracow. And even whilst flying over the airport, you can see the relation between aviation, museum, and whatever. So the object itself is telling already what it exhibits. Next one. Okay, now the plan is very simple. We have 3 wings. The main wing facing to the north, exhibiting big planes. The wing facing to the west is the entrance, and that's the ground floor, the entrance area. And to the east, so that, let's say to the right, shows a small cinema and an education wing. So we have these 3 wings with different kind of functions and different kind of areas which are exhibited. Next one. So now this is already the first floor, and you can see the gray area is void, so it's air. You are looking onto the planes. On the left side, you see the library, and you see the cafe area, a foyer, and a big lecture hall. So and so the building itself, even in the inside, follows these kind of form of 3 wings. Now we have 2 wings with double height and 1 wing or 1.5 wing with single height. Next one. And that is the top floor. And on the top floor are only the offices. These are the offices for for the directors and as well for the heritage people and so on. So it's a very, very, very simple plan. And I will later explain why we did it this kind of way, because it has lots to do with climatization of that museum. Next, please. Okay, right. So that's the main entrance of the museum, showing these two wings out of concrete and giving as well again like this kind of form, which always gives a feeling that it could lift up any second, any minute, because it looks very, very light. We decided to concrete because we wanted to have this kind of play between looking light but being heavy. So it looks light, being able to lift up, but at the same time it's very heavy. I mean, I like this kind of play because, as you know, even big ships are built out of concrete and they don't sink. So why shouldn't a building out of concrete fly? So just a play. Next one. So that's a view towards the main entrance. So you can see on the left side these big how do you call this? These openings, these windows being a little bit like the opening of the windows in an airplane. You can see the main entrance in that in the triangular, and the view onto the education area. So that wing is where the education, where flight is getting explained. Why does a plane fly? How does a plane fly? And there is a little bit of history told. Next one. Okay, that is just a shot from the entrance. And next one. Next one. Do you move it a little bit more? Yeah. Oh, back again. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. So why did we do the museum only in one material? For us, it was very, very important that the museum is inside fairly quiet. We have the floor, the walls, the roof, everything out of gray concrete to be able that the exhibits are focused on. We said we want a museum where the exhibits are in the center and the architecture is just the background. So everything is reduced as much as possible. And we had the exhibition wing towards the north because we wanted, if possible, to use daylight and no artificial light. So more or less the opening hours of the museum, you do not need even any artificial light. You can see the planes as if they are standing outside. And of course, this big north opening, this big north wing, you can even open up. So in the summertime, it's naturally ventilated, and you can open it up towards the outside. So with the planes, you always have you can see a little bit of sky, and you give this kind of relationship where they really belong to. They don't belong to the inside; they belong into the air. Anyway, then next back picture. Here you can see what I was talking about. So the planes are standing there very, very clear. So they are not obstructed by any other things in the background. And that was our idea, that they really look like they are pushed into a hangar and they are just standing there. Next one. Here, this is now a view from outside towards the inside, and again, just we had 3 layers of exhibits. We have the exhibits standing on the ground. We had the exhibit bits being in the middle of the height, and then the ones which are hanged all the way underneath the roof. So the roof was constructed that way that we could even hang the planes from the top, and they can be exchanged and whatsoever. Then maybe I would like now to focus on you see this brown plane with this white and red. Focus on that one, maybe what? Yeah. So you can see that mainly, of course, you have these big planes which do not need any special climatization, but at the same time you wanted to exhibit next to the planes pieces and artifacts. So we were inventing, or we were designing as well, these kind of glass boxes which do have a little bit of a different climate and which are lit inside. So doing that, we were able to have an open space, but because we have these important or these valuable exhibits, we had separately inside these glass boxes. Next one. Okay, that's now a shot from the so-called education wing. We have these kind of chairs from Lufthansa, and that's where school classes are sitting and teachers in the front and explaining about how flight works. And in the back you can see objects where you can sit inside and listen to or look onto running screens, where it's basically the whole wing or this whole area is only about education and school classes or people coming wanting to learn about the flying. Next one. Yeah, there you can see, for example, you can blow up these that balloon, or you can see these kind of different wings, and there's air going through, so you can see how they lift up, and so on and so on. Next one. So that is now the view. That is now the conference hall. The conference hall is in the first floor. And whilst or when you're sitting inside this conference hall, you're overlooking outside towards the airport, and you're looking into this this big education hall. You're facing the plane, so it's quite an attractive room, where the scenery is just around you. Next one. In the middle of the museum is a cinema, so the volume is more or less the shape of a cut Boeing plane. So it's basically reminds you of how the hull of a plane looks like. And we used only materials which are very natural. So we had the concrete, we had glass, and we had aluminium. That's it. We were only working with three materials, and we decided on that one because we said the glass and the concrete is very architectural. And aluminium is very much reminds me of planes, because in former times, or there was a time where aluminium was mainly used for planes because it was very light. Nowadays, it had changed to plastic and carbon, but that is not really what we favor in the architecture. Next one. So that this now you can see here as well. That's the entrance area of the cinema. And the wall was constructed only of very fine elements of aluminium, showing and having in the back of these elements like a fabric out of blue felt to serve acoustic reasons. And you can see now quite nicely this kind of play between these different areas and different functions. Next one. Just giving some material, except this is sadly now that it is in so low resolution, because actually it is blue and in the back, and it is silver in the front, and giving a very, very nice kind of atmosphere, and showing how this kind of volume got exaggerated through this kind of small elements, vertical elements. Next one. There you can see. There you can see that is shown quite nicely. This kind of simple way of exaggerating this this volume inside the spaces. Next one. So that's the inside of the museum. We did more or less the same. We had as well aluminium stripes, but here we did it other way around. We have it black and blue, so that we get quite a dark atmosphere. Everything is is in blue or dark blue. So when you are sitting there and the movie is playing, it is just you're feeling like you're inside the sky. So we're only using this blue and here seats from an airplane. So it's quite nice when you come into the museum and you want to start your walk through. You first have a sit there in the cinema and learn about the history of flight. Next one. Here's just showing the simple this principle. In the back we have the blue felt for acoustic reasons, and in the front we have the black aluminium. Next one. That's showing the main staircase, and here again with the architecture, it is a little bit like the gangway to a plane, but even only by the way it's constructed. It's nearly flying. It's not touching the ground. It is translating these kind of gangways into a different form. So a very, very sculptural, simple element out of aluminium. So we have what I said, only aluminium. Even here the stair is complete out of aluminium, and patinated. It's quite nice because people are when they walk on it, it stretches and it becomes and gets a very beautiful texture. Next one. These are the escape stairs as well here. Very simple, and to show what it is about, it's a fire stair. We have in the back is red, and back in the back there are big doors where you have the pipes for the fire brigade. So it's the only strong color we introduced to show what the reason of this stair is. It's a fire stair. Next one. Here I want to show you now a few of the exhibits and what we did. When you walk through the museum, for us it was very important that exhibits are more important than our architecture. And by showing some of these kind of pictures, now you can see, you can really focus on the exhibit, and the architecture is in the back. So that is one. Next one. Yeah, so when you're coming there, someone wanting to learn about architecture, learn about these objects, you're able to really focus on them, really see them, and you're not obstructed by the back, because usually planes are in the open sky, and the only thing which is behind them is the blue sky. Next one. Okay, next one. So we did not only the design for the museum building, we did as well the design for the interior and for the exhibition. And as I said before, we had these lots of tiny elements which were uniforms and hats and medals and tiny whatever they were using. And we designed these kind of glass boxes which have their own light, so they're lit by themselves, and where you are able to, whilst looking at the planes, you can go close to these kind of glass boxes and see what the pilot has worn whilst flying this plane, or you can learn about the history of the plane or whatsoever. And by doing that, by having these kind of glass boxes inside this huge volume, we were able to show these kind of different objects in one, let's say, in one room. Next one. Here just so for construction drawings and for booklets, just some boxes. Next one. Okay, next one. Just giving you an idea what was exhibited there. You can see these medals and they're different objects, and these kind of aluminium boxes where you are able to just easily lift up the glass, exchange it, and put it back again. Next one. So these ones as well, everything is out of one hand, everything is out of aluminium. These are screens for computers. You can sit down in the middle and you can just listen to a podcast, or on the other side, there are two screens you can look at. So yeah, this kind of tiny thing is there to, which is standing around for you to take a seat, to take a rest, to wait, to listen, or to, on the other side, to have a screen and learn about the history. So very, very simple objects. Next one. Yeah, you can see. So there on both sides are screens, and there's always running a film. And in the middle, you can sit and where you can sit on this black leather, and there it is. Yeah, it's like a small podcast running. Next one. Just the benches as well, very simple, only aluminium and black leather. These are standing around to take a seat and to take a rest. Next one. Yeah, next. No, we're back again. Back again. Yeah, and here you can see this is for inside the education area, so you can yourself take a seat and go and learn about planes which are exhibited there. So as well, these kind of furnishing was all designed from us, and what we try to do is to have it as simple and as clean as possible, so that it's not disrupting the exhibition itself. Next one. And these are the stands which are next to the objects, so as well out of aluminium. And there, the museum itself is patching A4 sheets to explain the planes or whatever object they are, standing in front of. Next one. Here you can see even the information desk, very simple in aluminium. Everything reduced to the maximum, only using these kind of three materials, the concrete, the black concrete floor, and the aluminium. Okay, this is, now I would like to, next one. Now I would like to tell a little bit about the ecological concept of the building, because what you have to face in a museum are really big volumes, and how do you deal with these kind of volumes is one question. How do you go about it that you have to heat or cool these huge volumes? You have to find an idea to get the running costs down. On the other hand, it is very important to think about materials, so that you have materials which are, if possible, are in the cradle-to-cradle concept, so which are natural. That was at least our idea. And again, I will now start with the park. Maybe do the park. Next one. So we are not starting at the building itself. We first thought, what are we going to do with the green area? Even the park we wanted to have as, let's say, ecological as possible. So we try to minimize the sealed area and maximize the area which is not sealed, and put as much nature back into that area as possible. That was basically the idea to have it not only as a, let's say, exhibition area for planes, but as well a park for recreation. Okay, next one. So when you design, yeah, that's okay. When you design a museum or any building, you have to think of course, of the sun, of the circle of the sun. So here, at least in Germany, we have very different. The sun is very different during the winter time and during the summertime. So in the winter time, we have just about, I don't know, 6-8 hours sunshine. And in the summertime, the sun is rising 5 o'clock in the morning and setting at 10 o'clock at night. So it's completely different. And the angle is as well completely different of the sun. So you have to incorporate the sun into your design. And as well, in a museum, when you want a museum with big glass areas, you have to think that glass is always, let's say, an enemy because it's heating up too much in the summer. So how do you go about that? what we did is we wanted glazed areas, and we wanted it as open as possible. So we are facing the main exhibition area to the north. So the sunlight is hardly ever coming inside. That is, for doing so, we achieve two things. First of all, we can exhibit without artificial light, which is saving running costs. We are having hardly any heat gain in the summer, and we're having this kind of nice feeling of being nearly outside. And all the other wings were located towards the function. So towards the west are the offices, and the offices are usually in use from, let's say, 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock, and the western sun is approaching up from 3 o'clock. So you never have these kind of, you never have to face a heat gain in the offices, so you can basically close them off. So the whole building was designed already towards these kind of goals. Now, next one. And then we said as well that we do not necessarily need in all areas the same temperature. When you are in that museum, you're walking around in the aviation park, and you enter towards the exhibition, the big exhibition in the north, you're wearing already a coat. So you do not need to have there 20 degrees, and you do not need it for the objects as well. So we decided that we are designing the building like an onion principle. We have the warm rooms in the middle, the rooms where you're working, the offices are compressed to each other, and then you have the big exhibition area and the education area, like more or less open space. So it's like an onion. So outside temperature, next one. So then outside temperature might be, let's say in the winter, minus 20 degrees. Then you have this exhibition wing, 8 degrees. You have the education area, or what's it called? The conference area was 18 degrees, and the office was 20 degrees. So in doing so, we are of course able to use far less energy for heating. And to be honest, it wouldn't make as well sense to have the whole building heated up to all the way to 20 degrees. And in reverse, the same is of course in the summer, facing it towards the north. You can use that kind of summer warmth, or you never gets heated up in such a respect that it's getting overheated. Next one. Yeah, so the overheating is getting protected by the concrete shell. So it's just not happening now. And if you would face the glass towards the south, it would of course very much overheat. Next one. No. So that means you have individual heating systems and in different zones. So we have floor heating, for example, with low temperature in the exhibition areas, and then we have radiator heating in the other areas. So one has to do the building intelligent to be able to use as little heating energy as possible. Next one. And of course, we try to have as much natural ventilation as possible. I know that is not possible in an art museum, but here in our museum, where you have these big exhibits, it is possible. And I explained beforehand that we have these big planes exhibited, and then we have these glass boxes, and inside the glass boxes are the more valuable things, and they are, of course, not directly facing the natural ventilation. Yeah. And the air-conditioned zones we reduced completely to only in the cinema and, of course, the sanitary, the WC areas. Next ones. I said it before, very important, if you can, maximize the natural daylight, and so to reduce artificial lighting, because that's the major cost item, not only the heating as well, or the electrical energy you need for lighting the museum. Okay, next one. Good, now I will show you some pictures of the site. Because we were not only doing the design, we were as well the site architects, and we were doing the building. The design till build was in a time span of 5 years for the whole thing, from designing, from starting the competition to having it finished. And here you can see the beginning of the site, and you can see already the forms of the building. Next one. That's now the time where the concrete walls got erected. Next one. I'm sure you have all seen already sites, but it's just, I think it's always very impressive how these kind of concrete walls go up. Next one. Next one. This is quite important picture. We realized, or we did know, that we will never be able to get top quality concrete. So right from the beginning, we said we are going to chisel the whole concrete. We said we are not able to get top concrete out of the directly. So we said we have to treat it. And right from the beginning, we said the whole concrete will be treated by being chiseled. And I think that is important as well when you start as an architect, that you have to know where you are building and what are the what is in the area possible. What can you expect of kind of quality? And I think that was a quite good decision that we said right from the beginning. They do the concrete however it comes out, we chisel it anyway. Next one. And before starting, we did, of course, mock-ups. We did the mock-up from the inside and from the outside. And the next one, to find out how it could later look like. Next one. So there are lots of tests of different kind of concrete textures to the 1, 2, 3, 4 different kind of ways how it could look. And I think we have chosen at the end the number 1. So, but it's quite important as well when you do these kind of things that you always do mock-ups and that you always try to find out on site or whilst you're building it, how at the end it could come out. Next one. You have to move it a little more. Yeah. Okay, that is basically now the, now you don't have to zoom so much inside, a little bit out. What? Can you zoom out a little bit? Yeah. So that's basically just showing the quality of the concrete, how it came out after being sanded and chiseled, and I think it's quite nice. Next one. Again, the concrete wall from the outside. And then a full screen picture. Next one. So these is the concrete wall of the office area. The next one. Yeah, now I'm nearly through. So it's the last view onto the museum and now the final picture. So I'm now open for questions. I hope I was able to. No, you can leave the big one standing.
I think what Lynn is interested with the window.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so now I hope I was able to explain a little bit, and I hope my German was not too, or my English was not too bad, but I tried to do my very best.
Thank you, Justuss. I mean, it's a real pleasure having you, and it's a very simple. I mean, the design as a whole, but it's very impactful. Showcasing the plane, and and I think it's nice that you look into every little detail, like detail of the other exhibits as well, the medals, the costumes, the attires and all that.
Yeah, that's all these kind of medals are in these small boxes. I mean, I think I showed one or two boxes.
Yeah.
Boxes. And inside there are these medals, or there are these the documents or drawings or whatever. So they are. That's why we have these kind of we designed 3 or 4 different of these glass boxes, and they are in different heights for the uniforms or for documents or whatever, and they are placed in between the planes. Yeah, so in between the main exhibition, you got placed these aluminium boxes with glass cover, where you get the artifacts which are belonging to that time of the plane. Yeah.
And I have a quick question. I mean, like the surface, you said you had to sand it down, right? I mean, you had to treat it through sanding. So was that? I assume you knew beforehand that was needed when you did the mock-up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We did know that it's not going to come out perfect, and that's why we have decided right from the beginning that that we are going to sand it down. That was basically the whole thing. We said that makes no sense to expect the concrete in like a Swiss concrete or like a Dutch concrete, where you have really nice and perfect concrete. And that's why we decided right from the beginning that we have the concrete works done in a very simple way, and then we are going to sand it down.
Okay. So anyone from the floor? Do you have any questions? So how do I address it? Justuss, is it?
Yeah.
I'm back here because Justuss, I can't put the. Maybe I can put the Justuss image. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Oh, sure, I can.
Yeah. I think if I can say a few words about Justuss. The reason why he can come up with such an amazing building is because of his experience also, I have to say. His father is a very well-known architect, so he comes from a good background, I think. And he also worked at Foster's for quite a few years. A lot of the discipline I think you see in the building, I believe, comes from the fact that he produces very high-quality working drawings and tolerances, and the understanding of materials is a legacy that you pick up from offices like the one in London, for the Norman Foster's office. And I think that you can read that in the architecture. I think there's the kind of you can't just produce a building of that quality if you just graduate from school and then you win a competition and you go out and build it. I think there have been many years of I would say it's some kind of what you call that pedigree training and pedigree kind of knowledge of from concrete. And I think that the fact that the decision to do the reduction, I think it's a very, very clever move to reduce the building materials to only 3. I think that is the most. And I didn't realize that you got so many details actually. I didn't realize that there's so many details like the floating staircase and the aluminum boxes, which when you just showed it to me before, I looked at it very quickly and I said, yeah, that's a great building. Just to be honest, today I realized that there's a huge amount of details like the auditorium, with the aluminum blue and silver, very, very nice uses. I think it's a very, for me personally, I think I'm getting to know you better through your building. Actually, we've been friends for about 30 years, but this museum actually tells me a lot about what's important for you, and it's very, very nice actually. Thank you for sharing this project. Yeah.
Hi, Justuss. Here's Susanne.
Hi, Susanne.
Hi. I really love this building, and I mean, so much work, so much thinking, and this reduction also. I just have a question for the structure. Is it that the concrete itself, is it structural by itself, or do you put in the facade some kind of support, or is it on its own cantilever at the top, or is it supported with a the facade framing?
No, it's two. First of all, it's 2 layers. So the concrete wall is always, this is 1 meter thick, and the inside is the one load bearing, and the outside is for thermal reasons. So you have, it's like a load bearing wall. Then it is insulation. Then there's air, and then there's another layer of concrete. So there are 2 layers of concrete. It's not 1 meter thick, and the roof itself is steel. So there, as you can see, we haven't got any columns inside there. So so that the reason why we do not have any columns is that the load is as well it's supported a little bit by the facade. So the facade is not only a facade; it is load bearing. So, but you hardly can see that. Yeah, so that was a trick, to be honest. Otherwise, it wouldn't work like that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Can you just say something about why did you put when the walls goes down the concrete? Why did you round it up at the bottom? This
it's basically as the principle, which when you come having this, when you take a plate, a square plate, you cut inside, and you just bend it. It's exactly that what happens when you bend it.
Oh, okay.
So when you take a material which is about, let's say, has a thickness, and you cut it and you bend it, it's that if you fold it up, then it is exactly what happens. And so the shape of the outside is really a square. So if you would fold it like the picture, like Nicolas Grospierre has done, the artist, if you move on one more, you can see that. He has basically photographed all the concrete pieces and made one art piece out of them. So it's basically, it's like a square, it's like a propeller. It's just cut and folded. Very simple.
But I'm talking more at the bottom, you know, where it meets the ground plane, the ground.
Yeah.
There you put around you. I mean, another alternative could have been it goes into the floor and it vanished with the floor. But you articulated it in doing this round movement, isn't it? Is it because with a plane shape, or what is it?
Yeah. Since I can't move so fast, these pictures, maybe what can do that. Actually the inside, you have a leftover triangular in the inside. When you are bending, there's of course like this little triangular which is left over. This is actually in the inside. You can see that. Yeah, it is not standing like this. It's like this triangular is later in the inside. Maybe if you go further down, we have to see.
There was a mock-up, isn't it? Can we see the mock-up? There was another mock-up where you look inside. Another one?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that is only the construction. That's only the construction. But you are talking
like on
about
the left side. You see on the left side at the bottom, you're rounding it.
Yeah. It's like basically to express the bend.
Oh,
bent.
Okay.
Yeah, it's to express that it's bent. It's not. It's because it is so heavy. It's if you would have only made it sharp, you wouldn't have realized so much that the whole thing is bent. So you're basically wanting to show or express that it comes out of the idea being bent.
Oh.
Okay. Ich rufe dich später zurück. Ciao.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. That's all what I wanted to ask. Thanks a lot.
It's when you're sliding downwards, you're sliding down. Maybe you have an inside picture from the inside exhibition. You were further down, right in the beginning. It was very.
Okay. Wait. All right.
More. Further. Stop. Not further. No.
Here?
No. Even further. Yeah. Now this one, for example, you can take the ones with the stools. It's possible. Yeah. And this one you can take as well. You can see now the the part which is bent, even in the inside, you can see this triangle, the leftover. So as if it's really cut. This is the leftover when you cut it, and it is really completely. It would be if you fold it up again. Yeah, all the outside walls would become one square. That's it. Yeah, so it is basically cut out of the square. You can see there where the plane is standing. You can see it as well. This is the inside, which when you fold it up would be the leftover by folding.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So, and you decided in this photo, you can see that very good. You also decided, I mean, I believe, yeah, of course, conscious decision to. Can you leave the photo as it is?
Which one?
Okay,
this one. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. Also, you made a decision.
Hello?
And then whatever is inside and furniture, and so you put it in a white color, isn't it?
Aluminium.
You didn't repeat it. You didn't repeat it into the glass inside where the office is.
There's everything is aluminium. There is no white. Everything is natural aluminium, not treated.
Oh.
So whatever you see, it doesn't matter if it's a facade or there's only one material, aluminium. That's it. Yeah. So all the walls are aluminium, all the covers are. So there is no more. And the reason is because we wanted to have. We do not want to mix too much aluminium. What's quite nice, what you can see on that picture, you can see doors. Can you see the doors in the back, the glass doors? Underneath the big window.
Underneath, yeah.
And so that just for the concept in the winter time, there you can see them. In the winter time they are closed, in the summertime they're open. So to have these kind of different zones, and we're saving about 40% of energy doing that. So to have these
fantastic,
because in Poland you are easily facing down to minus 20 degrees.
Yeah. So the main exhibit hall is actually a natural climate. I mean, there is no heating inside, or in the hall.
There is floor heating so that you at least get up to 8 centigrade. So when you have minus 20 outside, you can be sure that you have it in. It's always in plus around 10 degrees. But generally it is. About around 14 to 16 degrees.
Okay. So when you say floor heating, I mean in the photos we can see all this concrete. Where does it actually come out?
Inside the concrete.
The concrete itself.
The concrete itself is like there are big pipes inside, and these pipes run cold or warm water. You can even turn it around in the summer. You can run cold water, and then you have climatization.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks, Justuss. Thanks a lot. And next time when we come, we drive there together.
Yeah, Krakau is a must.
Okay.
No, but you can't let Justuss drive. We have to drive. If he drives his Alfa Romeo, he'll be traveling at 170 kilometers. Or was it 200? I can't remember. I think you were driving at 200.
No problem.
Kilometers
very beautiful project. Kilometers. He drives really fast. Very beautiful project. I think very beautiful scale. Very nice contact. And I'm glad that you took us through also the site planning, which I think a lot of architects forget. They do all this work in the building and then they walk away. I think you taken care of the context, the environment, the gardens, the park, the roads. I think that's a very nice part of the project, is that it is also holistic in the way that it engages the environment outside, which is, I think, very, very nice. It's the site plan, is the context and the layering of the gardens, the layering of the roads. Yeah, very beautiful. I think that's a very good approach for students to know.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, when an airport is more or less a boring thing. You have the taxiway and you have the runway, and in between there's lawn, so there's really nothing. And what our task was as well to have this kind of path or around the planes. Yes, that's what you're just showing there. But then you have the area which used of the former offices of the airport, of the former where they were repairing the planes, all these kind of workshops and whatever, and that area can be at least be designed in a manner where it's nicely to walk around, where trees are giving shade, where there are other objects standing around. I mean, you shouldn't forget that it is, of course, not only planes exhibited there. They have as well some kind of other objects like old cars and old engines and old I don't know, fire brigades. I mean, there are other objects than only planes, and they want to exhibit as well. And rockets, for example, where you put a rocket. I mean, it's quite nice to have it underneath a tree, because that's how it used to be in the Cold War. They had these tanks pulling the rockets, and they were hiding underneath the trees. So we had to kind of find a way as well to show these kind of things. You know, aviation is always there. You have two sides of aviation. You have the civil aviation and you have the military aviation. And both sides you want to show. And you want to show the one side and you want to show the other side. And that's it.
You also have a coffee place inside, but we haven't seen any photographs. I mean, did you do some special design on a counter or the chairs, or is it the coffee place? Is it something?
There is, but I didn't show that now. It's as well same thing. Everything is aluminium and very, very simple. It's basically only a straight bar. And yeah, we did as well the coffee place. We did even as well the booths for selling the tickets. But I thought it becomes too much if I show it. If I do another lecture, I put it in as well.
No, it was great. It was fantastic. You were in the beginning saying, oh, we are very slow and we only have a few, not as many museums as in Asia, but I have to correct you, in Malaysia, there is nothing. There's nearly nothing. It's not like China and Singapore, you know, where they build all this very lot of museums, you know. So here we are actually quite backwards with this, and I mean the National Gallery doesn't have a proper coffee place, doesn't have a library, you know. I mean, it's another museum or kind of gallery is in a shopping mall, you know. I mean, it's. I think your example is a very good example now for the students to really look into it, provide a proper coffee place, you know, provide.
Hang on, just I don't know who's pulling there. Just show the last folding picture.
The last folding
Susanne,
picture.
Susanne, that one.
Yeah.
Now you can see now you can see where it comes from, why it's bent. You can see it's just turned. And when you go one back, and then you can see. Yeah, there you go. So you have these triangulars at the end, and these ones you bend as well. I decided to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, even though it has a simplicity, but actually it is a very, very detailed, a lot of work. And the simpler something is, the most work I believe is in there. A lot of in every detail, isn't it?
Yeah, the idea was we just wanted to give the building a shape which has something to do with aviation, but it's not like not stupid, like not putting like I remember there were architects doing the main office for VW in the shape of a VW sign. This is stupid design.
Yeah.
Stupid design. This is not what we wanted to do. We didn't want the aviation museum in the shape of a plane, but we wanted to do it in a shape where you refer to flight, you refer to something which could lift up any second. You know?
So how did you, as a process coming to this idea? I mean, is it through it came very fast to you? Is it through discussion with your partner? Is it? I mean, how did you decide?
Basically, as I said in the beginning, the whole site was full with these hangars, and they were only 60 by 60 meters, 60 by 60.
Yeah.
We were only allowed to build 12-meter high, so we had at the beginning the form of being of trying to fit it into 60 by 60. Because we said that we should take this, the hangar again, should relate to that. And then
yes, I heard that, but how fast did you come to this idea? I mean, is it something it needed a long time, or it came very fast? This idea to take the hangar dimension and fold.
To stay with the size of the hangar was fairly fast, because the hangars are, we had 4,500 square meters, and the hangars are 60 by 60, so 3,600. And so we said, that the size is about the same. But to get the idea of having it folded, that took quite a while. We had a lot of different models which were more like wing-shaped designs. But at the end, have this kind of design, through this play of you know, when you do a propeller for children, you know, you have this is really simple thing what you're folding for children. That is basically where it came from.
Yeah. Did you had a very constrained budget, or did you go over the budget, or you were within the budget?
We had an extremely constrained budget, and we had very limited time as well. And no, everything was fine. Everything was okay. There's no big.
Great.
That was on time and in budget.
Great. So 5 years is including design, huh?
Everything. From start competition to finish.
How many people were in the competition? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know. It was Europe-wide. I mean,
Europe. Oh, wow.
So quite a lot.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Any student want to ask question?
Yeah, Jackie, you want to ask? Jackie?
Don't be shy.
Jackie, come on. Yeah.
I have one question regarding the material choices. What is your consideration of using concrete for the structure? Like, how do you come up with the material choices, concrete and the metal?
So we had for a long time we were thinking of doing it everything out of aluminium. So the whole building being completely only one material, being only with aluminium, and so basically everything, only one material, aluminium and steel frame and glass, and then inside the concrete floor. And then we somehow decided that for the background of the exhibits, it's nicer to have this kind of concrete, to have the concrete on the floor, concrete on the wall, concrete on the ceiling. So because it enhances more the exhibits itself, because they are out of light material, they are very often out of aluminium. And then we said it makes more sense to have the building these kind of shape out of aluminium. But it was a long process. I mean, and one just has to do a decision one day. That's basically how it came out. But we thought a lot of having it steel structure clad.
Okay, all right. You also, if I'm not mistaken, you said something about natural ventilation just now.
Yeah.
Can you explain further, like how would that work in this kind of because Malaysia is only hot weather, as in like in Germany there's like 4 seasons. So how do you balance the natural ventilation?
First of all, you have to discuss with your client that he is accepting that you have different temperatures in the summer and in the winter. And as I said, we have this main exhibition area, which is around 10,000 cubic meters. And to heat that main exhibition or to chill it down is just ridiculous. It takes so much money. And that's why we said we are going to face that towards the north. And if I'm facing it towards the north, you do not have the kind of heat intake in the summer. And in the winter, of course, you have to temper it a little bit. But what we did, for example, we had a big channel inside the earth. So that it is a very long earth channel. So when we take the outside air in it is already slightly tempered because the temperature in the ground is always 8 degrees. So when you have outside with 20 minus, or then and you run it through this channel, then it comes in and is about only 0 or maybe +1 or whatever, because inside the Earth is always 8. And the summer is just opposite around. So when it's outside 25 degrees and you run the air through that channel, then it comes in being, maybe, I don't know, +10. So it's already lowered. And that's how we basically reached, or that's how we assured to have natural ventilation. So it's not only by opening the windows. There's a Earth channel, and inside the Earth it's always 8 degrees. I don't know the temperature in Malaysia, how much the temperature is inside the Earth. I'm sure it's higher, but using that is quite a effective idea, because it works in the winter and in the summer.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah, and of course the offices have smaller windows, so that they do not heat up. And as I said, we use that onion principle. So the cinema is not, of course, not naturally ventilated, but it's inside. So of course we do have there the ventilation system, but it's only the cinema and only the big conference hall or conference rooms. When you do have 150 people inside there, you do need extra ventilation. You can't only do it with opening windows. It's not possible.
Oh, okay.
But it is one has to think about, of course, the easier, let's call it the American way. They would just put climatization inside and big heating, but that's ridiculous. I mean, one has to accept why do you want in this main exhibition hall? Why do you want that 120 degrees when you're going before or afterwards? You're anyway walking through this aviation park, and then you go in that aviation park. I showed you there are other hangars, and these kind of hangars are not heated in any case. So you are anyway having to walk through this exhibition area with your coat on, or even not in the summertime, you're just having a t-shirt. So you are anyway, in any case, walking through different temperature zones. So one has to just temper the whole thing. So it doesn't have to be completely lowered, but eaten up.
Okay, I see. How do you regarding what the regarding on the natural daylighting, is there? I see like the arrows there. Is there like a special material that you use in the glass to maximize?
No, what we have done, there is very interesting material you can use if you. It's called Okalux. It's OKRLUX, Okalux glazing, which is basically reflecting in a very nice way the glass. But what we did much simpler. We have just simple. It's called jalousies. How do you say it in English? Very, very simple blinds. And these blinds you can turn in such a way that you're getting the light inside. So it is everything. We had a very low budget. We had to do it in a low budget way. So we are using the blinds, which are at least I think maybe 8 centimeters in depth. So, and with these kind of blinds, we are reflecting the light inside. So you're basically getting the direct sun outside, and the blinds you're reflecting inside.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think that's all for my questions. Thanks for answering them.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Guma.
Justuss, what is the aluminium specification and the concrete specification? Let's say the aluminium, is there a particular grade that you use? Is it mill finish? Is it brushed finish? Is it what's the exact specification you use for the aluminium? And, what is the grade for the concrete? Any specific specifications you would recommend for the concrete? Is it white concrete? What kind of sand you use? I'm sure you go into the very detailed selection. I know you showed the 4 samples. but it's not just the aggregate, it's the way you, the type of concrete, what sort of grade, I don't know what it is in Poland, but in England they have different grades and the formwork is different. And then the aluminium, is it what kind of aluminium grade that we'd be interested to know?
Yeah, and aluminium, I'm very simple, because in aluminium you usually have to anodize it afterwards. You have different aluminium, you get in different kind of color shapes. You got it in 0, which is silver. You get it then slightly anodized, then it turns a little bit yellowish, and then you get it all the way to black. And what we have done, we have the main outside facade is completely anodized, so it's dark. It's nearly black. And all the rest is just pure aluminium, not even anodized, nothing, natural. So you even see the stripes on it. So we kept it as natural as possible, using no extra process for changing the aluminium color. Which picture are you looking for now?
That shows both the interior and the exterior walls.
The staircase is there. Go to the staircase. Just now, the floating stairs.
Yeah.
The floating stairs. Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah, that's where you see the glass, the concrete, and the aluminium.
Yeah. So it's basically the inside concrete is just plain. There's just no color added at all, and the aluminium is plain as well, and it gets as well scratchy. So we accept that it's getting scratchy. That's okay. It's that's fine. At the end of the day, we get used. And the outside concrete we added black, but I can't tell you anymore. It's too long ago what kind. But what we did is we did different samples with different stones and with different kind of variations to find the right color. So it wasn't.
This one?
Yeah, there you can see. So these ones are with different kind of, we call it Zuschlagstoffe, I wouldn't know in English. So we try to find out
aggregate,
which are the best and which we like, so that we have it. We wanted a gray tone, but we want it in a way that when you touch it, that it is quite like natural stone. But I think that's very important for an architect, that he does these kind of things. He has to find out, and sometimes you can take the material out of your neighborhood. I mean, it's always the best. What we like in the moment a lot is that you take concrete and then you mix it with the torn down materials, like where you take reused stuff. So you are not throwing things away anymore. You're reusing it and putting it into your concrete, so it becomes suddenly in different colors and different kind of. You can use it in an artistic way. And here the same. I mean, this kind of, wherever you work, you should try to get the local materials. Why it makes no sense to drive sand or stone or whatever from far away. You just try to work with whatever you find close.
Just wondering, what can't you mentioned you can't get the concrete finish that you wanted, right? Like the Dutch and the Swiss, you mentioned Swiss concrete. Was the budget the limitation, or the technique was not available, or?
It's both. It gets ridiculous in the budget because it's very. So in concrete, you have only one go. You're pouring it inside, and then it has to be perfect, because when you open it up again, it either has worked or it has not worked. So if it hasn't worked, then you can live with the result, or you tear it down again. And we realized that in concrete, the way it is used in Poland is always it gets covered with something. It gets plastered, it gets painted, but you never have the concrete in situ. You don't have it as a final material. So that's why we decided straight from the beginning that we are going to treat it, because however it comes out, it will not come out the way we want it. And we made the decision right from the beginning.
Shall we?
So-
Are there more
so from
questions?
this
Because otherwise we.
Sorry, so from this sample, so which ones did you end up choosing?
Oh, I don't know.
Don't know. Okay.
I don't remember anymore.
Sorry, what you were saying?
I think it's been 2 hours. I'm not so sure whether we should maybe ask the students if there are any more questions. Otherwise, we should wrap it up. But I want to thank Justuss for agreeing to do this for us. I mean, it's very, very kind of him, and it's a lot of work to show and put together something that is quite long ago, and so it's really appreciated by the school.
Yeah.
I think the students have benefited quite a lot from your very detailed presentation.
Next time I show you our new office building. I think you haven't seen it yet, don't you?
No, that would be very nice, because I think your office is nicer than the museum. Sorry to say that, but I think your office is even more spectacular to my mind. So I think I can't wait to see it, but I'm not so sure whether we can arrange another meeting with you and maybe look at your office, which is equally interesting.
Perfect. Righty. Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me. It was a pleasure, and I hope your students are going to do nice projects.
Yeah, but maybe we can invite you for crit. Will you be interested in that when they have done their presentation?
Sure. Yeah, but then we have to find out first how we are going to share screen. Yeah. But because it's first time, usually we worked with Zoom, and it was very, very easy. You just press share screen, and then you share screen, and I can basically work on my screen, and even then you are able to get other, because I have prepared as well 2 other projects we have done. One museum we have second prize, and the other one, but that is only when I thought, okay, if there's time I will show them as well. But it's only working when I basically can go into my files and share screen. It's easier. But I have to.
Apologies about that. Yeah.
That doesn't. This didn't work, so I have to. That's. I don't know.
We can use Zoom the next time. No, not to worry. We can do that.
What are you usually using?
The school uses Microsoft Teams, but I personally use Zoom. I can use anything actually.
But I think Zoom works on all. Zoom has no limitation as far as I know.
Correct.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much again,
Okay.
Justuss, and we'll let you know when our designs are ready, and I'll send you an invite on Zoom.
Okay, perfect. Talk to you soon.
Dankeschön.
Have a nice.
Thank you very, very much,
Okay.
Justuss.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Justuss.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Anyway, hello, is anyone there? Okay, wait. Would you like to share something, or I mean, I don't know now. I mean, like I think he has left. Justuss has left. So I mean, like, do you want to share your thoughts? Maybe you're more comfortable without, the guest speaker. Or anyone?
Vishal, do we have a workshop now, or are people leaving, or
No,
what's the
no.
plan?
No, we don't have it anymore. So no, I just wanted to ask if anyone wants to, say anything. Maybe they were shy just now. Otherwise, it's okay. So I'm just staying on if anybody wants to say anything. Yeah, that's all.
I wonder why are people so quiet? Why don't someone ask question?
One boy did. Guma.
Yeah.
Sorry?
But it's okay. But it's okay. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
people really don't have questions at all. Maybe there are no questions. I'm not sure.
So well presented. No more. But it's so. I mean, like it's so. I mean, the proposal. I mean, it's like so simple. So I mean, actually, to do simple things is very difficult. Yeah.
It's very clean and the space is very nice. And the proportions are very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what makes the project nice is the use of daylight. The daylight effect. Yes.
Okay. I think.
I kind of like the shape, which is folding of the plate of the side, which is a square. And just fold the side. I find that like quite simple and straight to the point.
Yeah.
Actually, I was wondering, like, there's planes in the museum. I don't see any like hangar doors or large doors for the planes to go in.
To go in and out.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are. Otherwise,
Yes, I was
can't go
looking at
in,
the
right?
pictures. It's just glass, and I don't think it has a mechanism where it can open.
Maybe one of the section has a bigger, folding door or has a bigger sliding door. You never know. And it can slide in. I think it can slide in. Maybe he didn't show, but I'm pretty sure there's one. Yeah,
one possibility is that the roof is up, and then I've done a building where we build the roof, and then we build the floor, and we build everything else, and then we bring the plane in, and then we close the facade when the plane is already inside. I've done one or two projects like that. So we put the glazing. We put the glazing last. We build it last.
You can't take it in and out, basically.
Yeah.
No, because there's no reason why it needs to come out again. Some projects are like that. So you leave especially when you do like big machinery, like there's certain equipment that you don't want to design the facade so that the equipment can come in and out every day. It's just once it's in, that's it. It never comes out again. So basically, what we do, we leave the fixing of the cladding to be the last activity. Once everything is in, then we close up the facade. We put in the glass.
So the objects that are permanent, like they will.
I think those are permanent. Yeah. Okay. The way the hangars are there, they don't change the exhibits every weekend. It's like probably every 2 or 3 years, or it never changed. It's never been changed. So I would say 2 of the panels can already allow. Let's say 2 of the glazing is put in last. So I would say if you look at this image, maybe in the corner somewhere, 2 of the panels are removable, 2 of the mullions. But the plane is not that big anyway. This is a fairly large building. So if you just took one of the members out, the plane can already put the
I was just wondering that. Yeah.
I find it's really quite cute as well. They are all aluminium frames. Even the circular window.
Interesting is we don't get to see sections and working drawings for the roof and things like that. I think the working details are also interesting. Like how do you hold up the roof using a truss, and then some of the weight is taken by the aluminium mullions on the facade.
Yeah, there's no section. Yeah.
I'm sure they produce a lot of working drawings.
I have one question. The roof, how does it work? Because the roof looks pretty thick, and then like you have like this aluminum frame thing. Like, how does it hold that weight?
How does it hold?
Yeah, because like there's this. Is it the exhibition hall that it has like this cantilever roof thing, the concrete roof? So like, how does it hold that weight?
Because this, you see this frame, this for the glass curtain wall here. So these aluminum, this frame, you can see my screen now, right?
Yeah.
So these are load bearing as well. So they are taking the weight. So it seems like it's floating, but it's not lah. That whole how do I say, roof, this whole concrete roof is also supported by the glass frame. It's a load bearing. So you don't
basically
have
the frame dimension is thick enough to hold that thickness lah. Then became a load bearing.
To take the weight. Yeah. So this whole thing is load bearing. Not the glass lah, but the structure that holds the glass. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So because you can't tell. I mean, like, I'm sure there are other, because he only gave simplified floor plans. So you can't really see if there are any, I wouldn't say columns, but walls that kind of support the whole thing. But definitely, you know, you see these frames here? Okay, they are what do you call load bearing as well. So it holds the roof.
But then why is the roof thickness so thick? Is it because of all those insulation and mechanical, electrical wires and things like that? Like why does it have to be so thick?
No, the roof is made of three elements. One is the truss, that's the metal truss. If you look at the mock-up, there's a metal truss. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see here, right?
Oh, so it was hidden after construction.
Yeah, first there's a metal truss, and then on the outside skin is a concrete. Yeah, and then you can see it. Yeah, you know the mock-up. Okay, that's the section of the roof and the wall. It's the same thickness. The roof and the wall is all folded.
So you have
So there's a metal truss, there is the outer concrete skin, and there's the inner concrete skin. That's why Justuss was saying that in the summer they will run cold water inside this airspace to help cool the walls in the summer months.
This void acts as an insulation as well.
Correct.
Insulation.
And in some parts of the wall and the roof, apparently he runs pipes that in the summer he will run chilled water, and in the summer he will run rather in the winter they will run warm air or warm water. That's what he's saying. Yeah, so he's using the wall and the roof element as an insulator, and he also talks about ventilation, right? The air is heated in the winter after passing through a series of pipes under the ground, whose temperature is 8 degrees centigrade, which is roughly about 25 degrees, or 8 degrees centigrade is like it's like, what is it? 26 degrees Fahrenheit here. Yeah, it's like the temperature of your fridge when you open your fridge. Okay, so then he says that in the summer they do the same thing. The hot air is taken through the ground before it goes into the building. So basically what it means is that the building is always using the ground temperature to even out the temperature difference between summer and winter, which is quite good. It's using the ground as a heating element, it's like a place where you pass your air, so it regulates the temperature before you use it in the building. Because if you take the air directly from the outside into your auditorium or into your hall, you'll be freezing. What he does is he takes the air, has to go through a series of pipes in the ground, and then it brought into the building. By the time you arrive into your room, right, it's already balanced, or what they call that, it's been balanced, I suppose. It's how chillers work. It's how
So all has that, you know, he has not just pipes but something that carries through this cold medium or hot medium that regulates the temperature. So it's not just the roof and the wall, it's also the floor as well. Even the floor has this pipe running through to heat up or to, you know, I think more to heat up.
Yeah. So what I think the building has is a very holistic approach. There's a site planning part to it, then there's the energy philosophy to it, and then there's the design, you know, there's a form building or so-called the aesthetic part. So it's a building that is not just about aesthetic, it's about site planning, it's about environment, it's about ecology, it's about saving energy, you know, and it's about being very conscious about the materials. So it's quite what do you call it, global approach. It's like, it's not just directed for looking sexy, you know, it's that responsibility to deal with the environment, space plan, landscape, which I find it's a very balanced project. You know, like how projects sometimes they just need to look sexy, that's all, and they don't care about everything else. There's a sense of there's aluminium, there's a sense of material, there's a sense of energy.
In terms, sorry. So like I was wondering, in terms of like Malaysian context, if we build the wall using this technique where we have a large space in between, would that help in the reducing the energy consumption of the museums in Malaysia? Or is there like another technique that we use here?
Someone has asked me before, why is it that we don't use double glazing in Malaysia? One of the reasons is the cost. It's nothing to do with whether it functions or not, you know. It's too expensive to insulate or do a double skin wall. You have to pay double for, you know, most people put up with a single layer of wall because of money. If you insulate buildings in Malaysia, you don't need aircon actually. You'd be very, very comfortable inside the building because the air is insulating all the heat gain. But it's too costly. See? But in England, where the temperature is quite extreme, you got a very high variation between summer and winter months, right? The temperature. It's worth spending the money because you save a lot of costs, heating costs. In Malaysia, electricity bills are fairly costly. It's fairly cheap. So people are okay to buy air conditioning and chill the air rather than do what Justuss does, you know. Use air as an insulator for the building. So the capital cost is higher. Yeah, we should all be using double glazing actually, but it's just the cost is so high. It's not worth doing it. You rather just because our annual temperature difference is so small. It's like 0.5 degrees. You know, it's not worth worrying about it. Yeah. But in countries like Saudi or New Zealand, right, you can go from like -22 to like +65, right?
So they need it.
So you need to think very carefully about insulation.
Actually, we don't really need, right? I mean, we can really make do with passive cooling.
I don't know, because I think like museum is a big space, and if you want to air condition the whole space, it takes a lot of energy. So I don't know. Yeah, that's just my.
I mean, for instance, I don't know. I mean, for instance, let's take like a common, like let's say shopping malls. I mean, take a common typology, shopping malls. Of course, shopping malls are, all air conditioned, right? But there are now new shopping malls coming out where they don't air condition, so they just have they only air condition the shop, the little shops. That means not the they are starting to. I think the one that did that is in, I don't know what it's called, in Ara Damansara. So there's no aircon at all, except for the shops itself, the individual shops. So where you walk, where you wander, the corridors. So but it has to be big, and they have fans. They have big fans everywhere. So I think people are trying to design passively, I suppose.
So if you take this building, this very building, this museum, this aviation museum, you take it as it is, and you put it in Kuala Lumpur, you don't need aircon. Because the insulation is there already. That's what I'm saying. Is you don't need it.
Yeah.
You will not get warm. You won't pick up any heat.
Yeah.
Because it's insulated, you see. It'll take a very long time for the heat to get into your room. You have to go through a layer of concrete, then you have to go another layer of like half a meter of air, which would be very cold. The air is cold because the night before it was frozen, you see. When the sun rises, right, before the building can heat up on the inner layer, the sun is already down again. You see, that's the whole idea of insulation. It allows the convective cooling, you know. It will take a long time for the heat.
But maybe for us, what would help is, I think if we cantilever a bit more, it would help because we have a lot of sun. So we don't want direct sunlight, you know, to hit the glass wall.
Yep.
If we can extend a bit and add shadings, especially on the top end, that would actually help tremendously in terms of heat gain into the space.
Yeah. But we're in the tropics. Basically, our glass, whichever way it faces, is not so critical because the heat comes in mostly from the roof. In Europe, in northern and in the extreme places like Europe and New Zealand or Australia, where they are so much away from the what do you call it, the median, right? We are in the tropical
equator, you mean?
Yeah. Our equatorial. I forgot my geography earlier, but in theory, our orientation of the sun is very like 12 o'clock. So what you don't want is like get direct sun from the top. The hottest periods are between say 11 to 4. You know, so as long as your windows are not facing directly west, even if it's facing directly west, right? A lot of my projects are all facing west, but you only get like 2 hours of sunlight and then it's gone. You know, but in Europe, in winter, if you're not facing the south, right, you won't get enough light and heat. You'll be freezing. You know, so a lot of the northern light, they call it, is to get daylight. It's not about getting heat. You know, so they don't have a problem of too much sun. Actually, in the summer, all you need to do is make sure that there's airflow. So coming back to this building, right? If you take this building, you put it in Kuala Lumpur, you just have to rotate it so that the biggest window is facing, let's say, facing south, because we are in the equatorial. Whichever orientation you turn, it doesn't matter. You just want to avoid the west facing, because don't put the glass on the west face. But if it faces, let's say, east or west, north or south, it doesn't make a difference. Yeah. It doesn't make a difference because the sun never gets in those orientation. It will never heat up. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't heat up. This building will not heat up because the roof is so thick that it's insulated. And then the glazing, right? If you face north or south, it hardly takes in any heat.
Even without overhanging. Even without overhang.
Yeah.
Because
like my house, my living room is
right at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, but it's only for a short while. It's only like for an hour or two. It's not enough time for it to heat up your building. The light just comes for an hour and then it vanishes. It goes behind you. It goes behind your back. It's on the other side. It's very quick. You know, if you watch the sun rise in the morning, you just stand there. You can actually see the sun moving. You know, in front of your eyes. You know, it moves really very quickly and it goes to the other side. By 2 o'clock, it's already disappeared. It starts to set already. It starts going down until 4 o'clock. Yeah, a lot of our projects we don't have overhang. Actually, I've never done it. In fact, none of my buildings have overhang. Actually, only one building has overhang. Is that we recess at point 92. I pull the glass into the block, so basically I get a shadow. It's a recess.
Helps a bit more, slightly.
How many office buildings have overhang? You take a look around in Malaysia, right? No office buildings have overhang. Actually, all the glass is just like flush.
Except for like the old ones, like I don't know. Do you know the TNB building, the old one? It has that square window.
Yeah.
Like with mosaic. Yeah, but so it's recessed, right? The window is recessed, and then it has.
Yeah, solar shading, they call it solar shading.
Yeah, solar shading. I think HKL does that. I mean, the 50s, 60s, they do a lot of that solar shading thing. Yeah, but not less nowadays. Yeah, especially like Shell, building, they get the LEED certification, but it's like all glass, all low E glass. The one in Shell Central.
Yeah, but if it's facing north or south, I'm telling you, it really, like my whole office is facing, I think it's facing north. My office is all glass. It's facing northwest. It's facing northwest. So I see the sun on my right hand side, okay, and then after just over an hour, it disappears. And after that, the rest of the day, right, I'm facing northwest. I just get a glow of light, but it's not hot at all. I don't use my aircon at all. But it's 100% glass. I have no louvers, nothing. It's all bare. My whole office is just open glass. The whole stretch, 40 meters, all glass. There's no window or nothing. It doesn't overheat at all in the office. So we cannot be too afraid of the sun. It's kind of like an illusion to say that every window must have a ledge. You need a ledge when you're facing west and you have no opportunity to put the window anywhere else. You have to have your window or glass facing west. Then you absolutely must put like what Isra is saying. You need a very good overhang, because otherwise your glass will overheat. But the west sun is very, very hot. Very, very hot. So how's the project P2 coming along? You guys have been very quiet. No show. What do you call that? It's a no show. Like you cannot see work in progress.
Surprise tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have tutorials, and then Monday another tutorial, and then next week the following week.
A lot of us are still in the what do you call it, the Kongki Pak Choi mood.
Yeah.
They're still counting the ang pao. They're still counting the ang pao, how much they collected.
Oh, how's the celebration with the MCO? Okay, or?
I just sit at home and watch and read my newspaper.
A good break then, right? I mean, I don't know. I had a good break. I didn't do anything. It's like, wow, what a weekend. Yeah, for a change. Yeah.
Scale is good. The scale is not too big. I think the say 12,000 square feet. Not too big. And it's similar to ours.
Yeah, it's quite small. Actually. It's quite nice. Yeah.
Quite similar to the one that we are doing.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of
us. The master plan is huge, The master plan is huge. The huge site. Yeah, but the proposal is on tiny.
I think it'd be nice to design like how you just do it. You draw your building, and then you draw all the way up to Lake Titiwangsa, Jalan Terengganu, Jalan Pau, Jalan Temelu. Put all that into your master plan. So that when you draw something, you're taking.
It makes sense.
Yeah, you take the whole idea of like where would people be walking after jogging in the park, after visiting the museum, they can just come out and stroll along. I've been there recently this weekend. I think it was a very good idea for students to take a walk in the park and have a look at how you can connect the museum to the park.
To the lake behind, right?
Yeah, it's a very nice park at the back. Jalan Temelu all the way up to I think there is a horse riding club there, and then there is a golf course at the back, and then there's a lot of things going on there actually. It's quite nicely done.
I forgot to stop the
recording.
Yeah, it's still live streaming. I forgot to end it. Oh no, it has ended. Okay.
You want to put up the site plan again? Just the site plan. You don't mind, because I want to let the students off. I think They are also very tired, I think, the student.
Which one you want to talk?
Yeah, the one with the color, the second one with the color. A bit of the landscape thing.
So that was the first one.
The one with the color one. The next one with the color. Yeah, maybe the student should do something like that, you know. The analysis of the main roads, then our name tree strategy, yeah. And then after that will be the park strategy, also called the softscape strategy, and then after that the apron, also called the hardscape strategy, and then the layer of the building on top, and then the overall. Yeah, yeah, I think this is a very good way to start the project. Don't just go straight into the building and start designing your reception, you know. I think you should look at context, how people arrive, where do you go after the museum, you know, the whole association between inside and outside. To me, a good piece of architecture is where the inside and outside they shake hands, you know. It's like the building and the environment is one unit. It's not like building and then plus others, you know. The integration is nice. I think it'd be a nice way to start the project to integrate it with the external.
Miss Yusra, can you scroll
yeah.
up? I just want to see some of the slide.
Okay. Do you know where you want to go?
I just want to like take a look at all the. Oh no! Just the just now the one that talking about the site relation.
Site relation is this one.
Ah yeah. Okay. Next one.
Next one is.
Oh okay.
This Guma, is it?
Yeah. Next
then,
one.
I mean, it's very simplified.
I just want to take a look at how he does the graphics and all. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Okay. All right. I think I got the idea.
But you can, but you can look at things that are related to your, program. Like, for instance, like I got 2 students who are doing craft museum on. One doing kite museum and one doing regatta festival, which is, I don't know, this Ban boat festival, I think. So both of them need the lake or the park as part of their museum. So they would need to look at the park as a recreation center, how that links to the museum. So so the elements that you look at, need not necessarily be exactly as this, but it should be tweaked to kind of your what your museum, what is related to your kind of museum program in a way. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's say the one girl, she did kite museum. So obviously she needs to relate to, kind of the existing green areas where people can play kite. So those areas are, kind of part of the museum in a way, although the museum is sandwiched between Istana Budaya and Balai Seni. So actually her museum extends to the lake, where people play kite and etc. So I think you have to kind of have a story in a way, like, how the elements around the site may contribute or may add on to your main museum program. You're doing carving, I assume, because I remember you were into tools.
Oh,
no.
No, I am doing Borneo musical instruments.
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can also look at festivals if you want to, you know, extend it out. Like, you know, festivals can happen, you know, at those parks, lakes, you know, kind of very suitable place for
Okay.
music festivals, you know, things like that. I mean, like, you know, you can
music
build narration, you know, or you don't have to design, but you know, it's like telling a story. Like, you know, this is a good place to build or to have the music museum, because you know you can extend to the park. I don't know, you know. So that's, I think that in a way can be your
the site.
what's the word? Site planning. Yeah, individual site analysis, contextual planning. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. It's kind of, that's, yeah, could be, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do a step-by-step guide. So step number one is to trace a line. Say what is the extent of consideration. Let's say if you do a building, spot in the middle caught between the two blue roof buildings, one to the left, one to the right. You draw this edge and you take this line all the way to Jalan Tun Razak. So that's one boundary. I know we've given you a site plan, right? But you can change that site plan and extend your scope to go all the way to Tasik Titi Wangsal, let's say. And then from there, what you need to look at is, number one is vegetation. Number two is road access. Number three is pedestrian walkway. Number four is maybe you want to talk about open space. You know, you need to highlight some of the, and just keep drawing one thing one layer at a time. One layer is just softscape. Another layer is benches. Another one is like jogging trail. Another layer could be other places where people can do exercises. You know, like gym. You know, like some of this gym equipment, they are external ones, right? You just put a small little deck and then people like, it's nice to like jog and then stop, rest and then walk again and then jog, you know. And I think you need to put things like dustbins. So what I'm saying, if you're very interested to design the external environment, you need to look at Tasik Titi Wangsal. You take a look there. They've done a good job there because they've got things like a dustbin area, bicycle rental, you know, it's happening there, you know, bicycle rental, and then they've got a place where you can buy drinks, you know. They keep the drinks outside the park now because it's good, so we got a habit of littering, you know. Right now you can only buy your drinks on the outside. As you come in, the park guard will be watching you, you know, keeping an eye on what you're doing with your drinks, you know. So it's become very nicely kept now, the Tasik Titi Wangsal. You guys should go and take a look. Yeah, but I think you should design from the outside and then slowly you get into the building. What I'm talking about, like, there's one small little essay I shared with you guys. One way to design the building is to remember half an hour before you step into the building what you want your people to experience. And then as they step out of the building, the next half an hour, the 20 minutes after you leave the building, what you want them to see first. Do you want them to run, let's say, from your building straight to the bus stop and then jump on the bus and disappear, or you want them to, like, for the first 20 minutes after they leave your building, do you want them to experience other things or not? Like, can they buy an ice cream on the way back, or can they like go to the toilet somewhere and take a pee, you know, and then walk down a bit more and then, you know, go past the petrol station and then get newspaper to read at home, you know, little things like that. I think that journey will help you to plan a building that is more integrated rather than just keep yourself within a glass box, you know. I'm not sure whether you guys understand this, the inside and outside thing. Yeah. So it's nice when you can design a building where there are elements that bind you to the landscape, you
know. What?
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to excuse myself.
Okay, let's close the meeting, shall we? Yeah. Shall we close the meeting? It's 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, bye guys.
Thank
Hope
you.
you guys enjoyed
Okay,
it. We'll see you guys tomorrow
Yeah.
for tutorials. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.